I'm swigging my. First thing I do is I've got a cup of tea and I'm swigging my tea.
Cup of tea, cup of cha.
I know. To keep me going. It's late here.
Yeah.
Are we live? Are we in?
I'm guessing so. I'm going to give it a second and then I'm just going to check it out. In fact, I'm going to pull it up right now.
Not yet on mine.
But anyway, if we are live in the group, because there is a delay and we should be used to that by now.
We're live
Hello,
now.
everybody. Good evening.
I see we're live.
Yay.
Hello.
I was going to say
Hello,
happy Friday, everyone, but it's only Thursday.
What did they say on the Eurovision again?
Good evening.
Hello from Luxembourg.
Hello from Brinklow.
Why does Luxembourg spring to mind when you think of the Eurovision
I don't
Song
know.
Contest?
I think you put that one out there. So now in my head, that's just stuck.
I don't know. It's maybe the only time I think about Luxembourg, you know.
Well, I was going to say, it's probably the only time you ever hear the place mentioned. Really.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if there's anybody on from Luxembourg.
Yeah, apologies to people from Luxembourg tuning in tonight.
Danielle live from the Campo.
Yes. Live from the middle of nowhere.
How close are you to... Go on, what are you going to say? I was just going to say, how close are you
my
to
internet provider, because I keep going a little bit crackly. I hope people can see me all the time and hear me. But sometimes it feels crackly from me. So we're supposed to be getting, because it's crazy to believe that in the middle of nowhere we're getting fibre optic. And there's been an update. They've said, well, it's not really an update because we're in Spain, but they've said they'll let us know more at the end of this month.
Huh. Oh, don't hold your breath.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so how far are you from the nearest town?
Oh, I'm not far. I'm about a 2-minute drive from Carrefour, which is like a Tesco's.
Oh, okay.
I know. So I'm not far, but I'm far enough. So I'm down like a track road, but I'm not far. No, I couldn't. I'd love to be able to say I'm completely out in the sticks, but really, I do need I've got children, so I need to be able
exactly. That's what I was thinking.
I like to pretend that I'm really out in the sticks because it feels like it, but I'm not really.
Well, you've got the best of both worlds.
Yes.
Pardon?
You've got the best of both worlds. Perfect.
Yeah.
So, who've we got on? My phone's not letting me see who's on.
No.
Hello, whoever's on. Say hi so we can see who's there. Oh, one's disappeared now. I've said that.
They've jumped off. They said no.
Quick. Oh no, we got more. They're coming back.
Yeah, no. If you're on, as well as I want to know where everyone is. I bet they're all near Justina.
Don't know. There could be a mixture. Why don't you? Can you introduce yourselves quickly, or just say hello from wherever you're from?
Luxembourg.
Yeah, a bit. In that style, that would be hilarious.
And guys, we've been doing these now. This is the 4th live we've done this week, and it would be really good to get positive feedback. Yes, is always great, but if anybody has got any constructive criticism, or if there's anything that they want us to cover, tomorrow is the last night, then absolutely tell us.
I like constructive criticism. I think it's useful.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Anybody else about? Okay, well, while you're just letting us know where you are from, why not?
What's your name? Where you come from?
Oh, what's happening to my phone? It's gone a bit bonkers. Hang on, I've just lost the.
We have got a hi, but I'm having problems with my phone tonight. I don't know why. It's not telling me who. I can see it.
Tomorrow, I think it was.
Because I don't want to make it go sound on again.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Tamara, hello, good evening. Good evening.
So tonight, we are going, I've got my phone back in working order, I can see everybody again now. We're going to be talking about one of our favourite subjects, social media.
Yay!
Yay! Now,
Yay!
we will make ourselves stop, we promise, at an hour, because otherwise we could be here all night. But yes, so we want to really be talking tonight about social media, how to really make this work for your business, how to get the most out of it. There's been a few of you have contacted me about different things to do with social media, during the week, and I sort of ushered you all towards today because we were going to be talking about it in a little bit more detail, because it is an ever-changing thing. The algorithms, the famous algorithms, which is basically the sort of machine, if you like, that works behind Facebook or behind any of the social media platforms, is always changing. They're always moving the goalposts slightly, so we're always having a little dance around the algorithm to get the best out of it. And ultimately they put that algorithm there to protect everybody,
and better your business as well.
And protect businesses, but also to give people the best user experience. So there again, they've been working on feedback that they've received from people. Is that sometimes it'd be too much spam in their news feed, too much business stuff in their news feed. There can be a whole variety of stuff that people complain about. So they're always trying to jiggle it around to make it a happier and safer place for everybody. But that can sometimes, for people that are marketing their business, it can become a challenge. And especially if you aren't connected to anybody that can sort of advise you on the updates as they get them, and through their own experiences as well. There's a few, really good sources of people that are close up in, especially in Facebook, the big accounts, that they tend to get updates first and they hear about things first. So, it's useful to get all this stuff and get it in a workable format that you can actually do something with, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And it's Facebook do let the information get out there, but they don't make it the most obvious places that you think that they're going to appear. And often, having somebody who's kind of in with all that is quite important in your business as well. So having that access, definitely.
Yeah. So should we start off with best tips for using social media for your business?
Yeah.
Fraser, I'll let you go because it's been a running theme.
Yeah, we've done this, haven't we? It's every night we go, tips. Off you go, Fraser.
Shall we? Well, I will apologise in advance then for each and every one of us for repeating ourselves if we happen to do so.
Yeah,
because we do that, and also this is kind of what we do during the day, right? This is our job when we talk about this or these subjects to other people as well. So it can sometimes be confusing who we've shared the information with. But look, social media is wonderful. I'll give you a little bit of background about how I got involved with using social media to its full advantage, and that was 5 years ago. And I was building my business in the old-fashioned way of, kind of belly to belly. I hate that saying, but face to face. And I thought there had to be a better way. And I came to the internet and I bought an attraction marketing course for $27. And it just changed everything for me. But even since then, so much has changed. But best piece of advice I could give anybody, simple, stick to one platform.
Definitely.
Choose Facebook if it's going to be Facebook. If you don't want to use Facebook, you prefer something else, fine, do it. But don't start looking into Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. 2.3 billion people use Facebook. There are enough people on Facebook for you to make a pretty good living, okay? Second piece of advice is, it used to be when we started out 5-6 years ago in network marketing that everybody told you the first thing you do is you build a fan page. A fan page is another word for a business page. Same thing, but they call them fan pages generally. Now I would say don't do that if you're starting out. It's really hard to get any kind of traction on a fan page if you've not got a following. And even if you have got a following, Facebook kind of buries your posts. Nobody sees them. So until you've got a good following on your fan page and you can build the foundation of your business, kind of leave that alone. Concentrate on your personal profile, and fan pages are kind of into phase 3 of your business, I would say, which we'll go into more in more detail. But basically, what you said, Justina, the algorithm is so complex now that it's kind of a guessing game as to what's going on. They make so many changes, and we're kind of the last one. Even we as the advertisers who spend a lot of money on Facebook are the last ones to know what's going on. So you're constantly kind of second guessing what they're up to. But the moral of the story is, brilliant social media platforms are great. Choose one, make it a long-term strategy, and just be patient. Don't get sidetracked. Don't get shiny object syndrome. People do it, right? We've got a great Instagram training. We'll not go into that at the moment, but it looks great. It's very exciting. But that's for another day. If you're doing Facebook, focus on Facebook and leave that for another day. Yeah. Plenty of people on that platform,
I think the key is master one, ultimately, isn't there? And then you can expand from there. Or the other train of thought is, if you already know where your target market predominantly hang out, and it happens to be Instagram as opposed to Facebook, then, obviously Instagram would be a better place for you to start. And sometimes there are those slight differences, especially from if it's a product or a service that's targeted at a particular age group, or if it's something more visual. Sometimes it's more into Instagram than it is Facebook. And when I say more visual, a lot more photographs, a lot more imagery.
I think Instagram is very much like fashion, you can get in there really well with things like that, things that are visual, things that look pretty, because you can't really get much of a message on well, you can, but you can't put across the same message that you can within a Facebook page. Within a Facebook page, you can be a bit more, you can put your personality into it a bit more, I think.
A bit more content, yeah. Although I think the trend is at the moment for network marketers, more network marketers seem to be using Instagram than they are Facebook, predominantly from the reach perspective, isn't it? And I think from the advertising restrictions, even though it is still run through Facebook's platform for Instagram, they have a little bit more freedom with what they can do over there. So especially if it's regarding things like weight loss products and, things like that, they seem to be better and get more traction over there. A lot of, I think the trouble is with a lot of network marketing businesses, and we all experienced that early days marketing wasn't very good, and the advice that you received actually wasn't very good, and it actually meant that everybody was copying everything, because essentially any network marketer wants the business to be duplicable. But the problem is, if you do that, then everybody's the same, then all the noise is the same, and everybody's going, what is all this stuff? And their news feed, before they know it, gets swamped of one particular
that's
company.
When you get the unfollows, you're going to attract people just to completely unfollow you. If you're going to put your business in that sort of position and be such like everybody else, and it's the same with any type of business, you really do need to look at who you are. Again, that goes back to your avatar as well. Check out your avatar, really look deep into that, see what they're looking for, offer that service, but do it from your heart, do it from your own personality.
Yeah. And that's when your branding is key, isn't it?
When we were in the early days of our businesses, it got to the stage of everyone just fighting against each other, kind of shout the loudest on social media and fighting over scraps. And I remember here where I live on this small island, there were many distributors for the same company, And if someone posted in one of the groups, the Facebook groups, I'm looking for this product. Does anyone know someone that sells it?
Like, it's the same in here.
Yeah, they were like bloody vultures, all these distributors.
And
then they're fighting over it, and they were saying, well, I should get it because I was the first one to comment. And I was just like, this is not the way it's meant to be. What does this say about our company, you know? You're fighting over the scraps for a bottle of aloe vera.
It's quite embarrassing. Yeah.
It is. So we can teach you a better way than that, a much better way. Another thing just to touch on there is you don't have to. Instagram's great, right? But it kind of frustrates me as well because you put hashtags on things to get more reach on your post, and suddenly most of the people who come back and follow you or comment are just scrapping over your business. They're kind of fighting over their coaches, or they think they're coaches, and they're kind of follow me back, and then they unfollow you, and that gets on your nerves. But a really cool thing to do on Instagram, people might not know about this, is using influencers. Instagram influencers. I've used them with some products on my e-com site to just, again, it's not a new thing, right? People have been doing that for a long time, but to use an influencer to showcase your product, whatever it might be, and it's done in a really non-spammy, cool way. And people who, if you don't know what an influencer is, if you're watching this, it's someone that's got influence on that platform, who has many followers, and it could be someone in the fitness industry who's got 100,000 or 1 million followers, and you're basically giving them a product to showcase, to highlight for one day or 1 week, and you pay them a fee, and they get to keep the product. And it's a great way to advertise.
We do the same for their blog, being advertised in their blogs as well. So what a lot of what we do is we contact the influencers specific to that area that we want, the product or the website or whatever it is that we're offering to be mentioned on their blogs. So again, that's the same system there, where you just, and it's not a big fee. You can pay some, all different. It depends who it is, but it's not a huge fee, and it's a really great way to get it out there. And again, like Fraser said, it's really not spammy. They've already got a standing, and people really trust what they're saying and doing. So it's a kind of relatable way to get it across, get your message out there. Yeah.
I mean, there are ways, aren't there? Now, we've been split between this. We've worked it for businesses in a lot of different ways with regards to, obviously you can auto post from one platform to the other. My advice has always really been with that is that if you are already working 2 platforms and you're happy working 2 platforms and you feel that 2 platforms are working for you, then I've always felt for all of the businesses that I've worked with that the audience is slightly different on Instagram than it is to Facebook. So I've tended not to advise companies not to auto post or not to auto post as often because it can look a little bit lazy. And because it's slightly different, it's a slightly different message for one channel as it is the other. So I would just say be mindful of that and test it and see what works. Not to say you can't share some things across, but with everything and any social media platform and all your digital marketing, testing is absolutely key.
Definitely.
Try it and see how it works for a short period of time, and if it doesn't work, then look what needs to be changed within that. Whether it is, like we said last night, whether it is the copy, whether it's the graphic, or whether it's an element of the advert or part of it. And keep it as a story, because it is an ever evolving story, isn't it? And that's what people like to see, because they do look at, it might be a particular post that actually stops them and catches their eye and gets their attention. But then the next thing they're going to do is scroll down and see what the rest of you're about. So it does need to make sense. And, it needs to fit in well and flow. I mean, you could be changing businesses. That's not an issue. But obviously you can delete some stuff if it's no longer applicable, if you've taken a bit of a change in direction and you look back and you think, oh, that would look very good. You can get rid of
those cringy days.
Yeah, you do have ultimate control. don't you, as to what stays and what goes. And the other thing that you can do is use things like Post Planner to actually find other people's viral posts already. You know, Post Planner, it's postplanner.com, I think. You can go on there and you can basically search for content that's already had very good interaction into a particular market, or something that you're connected with, or something that you're talking about already, and you can share that on your timeline or on your business page or wherever. And you can also use that as a scheduler as well, can't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it's
you can be quite fun with Instagram. You can do some really fun little things with Instagram. You know, you can hide your hashtags as well in your story, so you can, you know, put the images that you can hide all your hashtags, so it doesn't look so messy. You know, there's lots of different things that you can do that. Obviously you can't do that on Facebook.
No,
it's just seeing what works for you and really looking in.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, have you gone a bit there, Dan? You look like you're frozen.
I know. I was just trying to turn something on. There you go. I was just trying to open up a link because I've got something that I was going to post into the page, but I'll have to do it afterwards.
Okay.
Justina, I just want to highlight two things you said there, which, you know, emphasize them really, which were really so powerful. Don't be lazy with your posting. People can, and you've got access to these tools like Post Planner, which, again, if you don't know what it is, you can schedule your posts for the week or whatever, and it's easy to sit down and do that and schedule like 100 posts if you want. Don't do that. That is kind of lazy. Less is often more, and that was the first thing. What was the second thing? I can't remember now.
Oh no!
Oh yes, the story you talked about.
Yeah,
talked about telling a story. That is so powerful. And when I think back to the people that I've invested in my business, the coaches, the mentors, the sponsors into different businesses, uplines, and all of that, have been people that I've liked, that I've enjoyed their story. I've got something out of them. It's nothing really to do with the company. If I think I like them and they can help me, and I resonate with their story, then take my money, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
So it's super powerful, and we've all got a story to tell. We've all got our own challenges, you know.
And you may think you haven't got a story to tell, but even your day-to-day life can be a story. And it's, you know, this is why people like things like Big Brother and, you know, all these reality shows.
Be real, be true, be what's going on at you know, and that doesn't mean always having to be totally positive. And, you know, people find that irritating. I know I do. And think about how you feel about other people's posts. You know, really kind of look at somebody else's and it's made you go, oh, for God's sake, yeah, I like to be positive. But every day, you know, posting up a good morning, a wonderful day it is today. And, you know, all these things become boring. People love it when you're so raw and you're so like open about how your life is going, and that's the story they want to hear. They want to hear a real story. We don't want to put out a fake message out there, you know. And with Instagram, it's you do get penalized if you leave it a long while and then post again. So, you know, keeping that as a regular thing with your story is perfect, because it's a story of your life, you know, and being able to just put it out there for people to watch and follow, that's going to bring you, you know, some engagement there as well.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I wanted to touch on about, I was having a conversation with somebody today who's got a new business, a great business, great idea, a great business model. And he's been trying to get interaction on his social media, but he was under the sort of the idea, I suppose, that he needed to get his message out absolutely everywhere. So he was going and going into posting 20 times a day in different groups, and, you know, really hitting Messenger hard and, you know, messaging people he didn't even know. And that's the sort of thing that flags up as a massive red flag with Facebook. You know, and you know, if you watch him, wouldn't you know?
You're going to end up in Facebook jail.
Well, I think he has. Yeah, this has been the problem.
Yeah.
So there are so many other ways that you can actually start to share your story. But ultimately, it is sharing your story and working your social media from an attraction marketing basis. Now, I know Fraser just mentioned he did an attraction marketing course. Fraser, would you like to just sort of explain what attraction marketing is for everyone?
Yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, it's really just what it says on the tin. Attracting people to you through marketing. Yeah. And that's really what it is. So it is about everything we've spoken about this week. It's about building you as a brand, not your company. It's about making people, come to you. It's about, we talked about this already yesterday, I think. People buy from and people buy into people who they know, like, and trust. Yeah. And when you can build that attraction through marketing, then people come to you. I knew it was really working for me when I went from being Mr. Spammy, spamming my links all over Facebook 6 years ago, hitting everybody up with a message in my inbox. I was like known as Mr. Forever Living, a complete pain in the ass to everybody. And, so much so that they wouldn't want to talk to you if you went out to social events.
They walk past you.
Yeah, they think, oh, he's going to bloody prospect me again, that guy. And then maybe about a year ago or so, I was at a social event again, and someone who I hadn't seen for quite a while came up to me, an ex-family member, let's call him that, right? But someone I've been close to for many years. And he used to hate what I did in network marketing. He was so negative about it. And he, one of these typical pyramid type persons,
Haters,
hater, an absolute hater. Whereas he was a family member, he should have been supportive, but he was the opposite. He came up to me and he said, Fraser, how's it going? Yeah, everything good? Yeah. What are you doing with yourself these days? And I said, what do you mean? He said, I never hear from you on Facebook or social media. What is it you're doing?
I get that,
I felt like saying, sticking two fingers up to him. But, I never told him. I said, a bit of this and a bit of that. I'm busy behind the scenes, just working away, just keeping my head down, I thought, great, that's obviously working what I'm doing. And it's not just attracting the right people to you through social media and through paid ads and all of that stuff, but also shutting the door to people you don't want to work with. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Shutting the door to negative family members. Most people know this. And people close to you, your best friends, are usually the least supportive. And for me to know that guy didn't know what I was doing was very, very satisfying, So I've gone off on a bit of a tangent, but attraction marketing works by helping you attract people who you want to work with. Yeah. So that's the really cool thing about it.
Yeah. And there are a few things. Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Fraser. There are a few things as well, sort of in and around that you can, it's worth knowing and that you can utilize. So it's interesting, isn't it? Because when you've got people in your newsfeed that on your personal profile, this is that you maybe don't know particularly outside of your close personal circle. There might be, just sort of more associates, I suppose, than anything else, or friends of friends, or friends from wherever, or someone you met on a night out, or something like that. But if they keep popping into your newsfeed and certain family members are not popping into your newsfeed, there's a bit of a clue in that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, for a reason.
Yeah. So you'd be pretty much pretty certain to say that the person that that's popping into your newsfeed, if you've not clicked on their stuff, you can bet your bottom dollar that they've clicked on your stuff and they're having a look to see what you're doing. And likewise, like Fraser's relative there, or ex-relative, he obviously wasn't clicking on Fraser's stuff anymore. Fraser definitely wasn't looking on his profile to see what he was doing. So Fraser wasn't coming up in his timeline anymore. Yeah. So he had no clue as to what he was actually doing. So there is that element to it. So it'll give you a clue, the sort of who's interacting with your posts and who's looking at your posts. But also, especially if you are in network marketing and you are utilizing your personal profile out there, and maybe at the moment you're still feeling that, or maybe, you know, you're starting to wonder from what we've said, if you are being a bit spammy, if you are, you know, doing a bit buy, sell on your personal profile, then you can split your friends list. So you can divide that up into different categories so that you can choose who sees your posts at any one time. So if your family, for example, are very anti what you're doing and they don't want to see what you're doing, or you don't want them to see what you're doing, you can create a list minus your family. You know, you can have a customer list. You could have, you know, a family list. You know, you can divide it up as many times as you like. But that can be quite useful as well. And especially from a network marketing perspective, when you are talking to people that are potentially people that might join your business, you can have a separate list for those guys so that you can actually keep those in mind, or to help you, you know, sort of track where you are with your conversations with them and your interaction with them, because that is just as important for any business, really. You know, interaction with your customers, interaction with your potential customers is key. You know, you want to be able to do that both way around. And I suppose
that list is really powerful, isn't it, Justina? Sorry to cut across you.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
If you're building your list on Facebook, you know, and your list of prospects, you know, for whatever business it is, every time you find a new friend on Facebook and you prospect for your business, it's so simple just to add them to that list, and then
it's less of a big chore.
It's great. It's so easy. It's like adding them to an email autoresponder list. It's the same kind of thing. And you just, if you're making a post specifically kind of geared towards prospecting, you don't want everyone to see that. It's absolutely true. And you just send it to the list. It could be prospects list or whatever you want to call it. And it's so cool. It's a great thing. And I think a lot of people don't know about that function.
Yeah, no, a lot of people don't, even if they know about it, they don't utilize it. They don't think of it to be used in this format. You know, it's great because you can have, you know, different areas of your business. You know, you can have just throwing it out there, horsey side, and then you can have your dog side. You can really divide it up and get focused and literally have it just go to the specific. I can say it, but if I say it too loud, specific marketplace, you know, and you can really kind of go in there and build your story as well around that, and just make it available for them to see. So it's such a useful tool.
Yeah, and also you can also click or select, can't you, to see first. So say, for example, you've got a list of people in your newsfeed, you can select to see their news first, if you like, in your newsfeed. So again, it's a good way to help you interact and build the relationships.
Yeah, it's just getting organized with your Facebook, and really it is a business tool. I think because it's used as a business tool and a personal tool, you forget to really think about it in a structured way and break it down into this format. But it's really important, because you're using it now as a business tool, to really look at it like that and start dividing it up and making it more proactive rather than just throwing it out there. You know, you've really got to look at this as a tool.
Yeah.
And there's even an app, I think, I don't know the name of it, but someone told me about it. There's an app that can disable your newsfeed. So if you want to use Facebook as a business tool for prospecting, for creating lists of prospects, customers, whatever, and use the messenger facility and all the great things, but you can be guilty of just scrolling a little bit like we all do and spending half an hour looking at cat videos and stupid stuff. There's an app out there that you can.
I watched police officers earlier dancing. Why have I done that?
You watched what, dancing?
I was watching police officers do a dance in America.
Yeah, that's
somewhere.
The sort of thing you watch.
And I was like 2 minutes into it, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, I've got so much to do. Like, get off.
But it's an addiction. I mean, it is an actual addiction.
It is.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely. So, but also on that subject as well, there's some people do have a fear of starting to use social media and their Facebook for their business as well, don't they? And you know, there's so many different ways you can start to use it. You know, if you don't feel comfortable using your Facebook personal profile, and I suppose even going back 12 months ago, Facebook used to can close people's accounts down, didn't they? If they thought they were using them too much for business, they seem to have got much more lax with that now. They don't really be bothering with that. I suppose there's too many people for them to keep policing it.
I think they got a lot of complaints around that sort of time, so they decided that they were going to take that one off.
So there's there are different ways, but you can also utilize, like we're doing now, you can utilize your Facebook groups. A group is a great way to sort of start to build a community, like we have here. You can use it for connected to your products as well, or if you have a product-based business or a service-based business, can work for anything, can't it?
Also stories are great. If you're really not confident yet to post onto your Facebook page, Facebook have got their stories as well. So it's quite you don't feel like, because you're not looking at it all the time, everybody watches their stories. I'm always having a quick nose through all my stories. And it's quite a way to put it out there without feeling so nervous about it, because it's not, I'm trying to think of the word, but it's just not so visually out there. So to build up a bit of your own confidence, and you're not so confident to post direct to your actual personal page, start building up a bit in your stories.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a great tip. But also, I think, if you have a structure or a plan around your social media, how are you going to start to introduce that to the people that are around you? Because obviously your immediate friends, they've already hopefully got the know, like and trust thing. So if you're providing a product or a service that they could possibly want to buy in the first place, they're going to be your immediate warm circle of customers potentially. So it's well worth thinking about how you can introduce that to them in a professional way, isn't it? And just start to bring that out there. And it's a good place then to start to build the confidence around all of that.
And building it as a story. It's a journey.
Breakdown. It is a breakdown of the walls almost. And makes you feel a bit more not so putting yourself out there.
And remember, also, there is more than one platform out there, right? There is.
Exactly.
We talk about this a lot. There's more than just Facebook. I mean, Instagram, great. YouTube, if you really love doing YouTube, YouTube's wonderful. More and more people are going to video. But more and more people are going to YouTube almost like a search engine for help. And how do I do this? How do I do that? I know personally, if I use Google a lot, like we all do, but more and more I want a video tutorial on how to do something, and YouTube the place to go. The other thing is we haven't really touched on LinkedIn. Great platform, really fantastic platform, a lot of good people on it. And it's a different approach altogether. Really good.
LinkedIn is definitely more business to business, isn't it? It's almost like a professional
platform. It's a professional social media platform.
And that's what everybody sort of does on there. They talk about it's the done thing, isn't it, to talk about your business. You don't really talk about personal stuff unless it's connected to your business on there. So
but you can still share some really good content and stories on it, different to Facebook, different to Instagram. It's not kind of, oh, look at the journey I've been on and now I'm here, and I've look at my swimming pool and now it's totally different, but you can still share some really good content and value and training. Training on other things, like, you could go on to LinkedIn and you could share a training about Instagram. There's nothing to stop you doing that. So it's just a different approach. But again, the key thing to emphasize is choose one. Yes, you can do sort of cross-post thing, but don't do different strategies for different things. You can share one post on two platforms, and kind of tweak them, but don't take a lot of time to do it, and focus on one strategy.
It can get very time consuming, can't it? And you can get really lost in it.
You can lose a day of your life, a week. No, it's really something that I have to emphasize. Don't try and do it all. I've tried to and get my head around so many all at once, and it's just it's so difficult to keep up, and it becomes such a full-time job that you're not actually doing the work in your business that needs to be done in order to be able to take it all on and move it forward to be, you know, profitable.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The other thing that I just wanted to touch on as well is Pinterest. Yeah, I love Pinterest.
It or hate it?
Yeah, I know. Love it.
No, you love it? I've never used it.
It's more, to be honest, it's more of a search engine. Okay, but then if you think about it as a search engine, and Dan will know more about this, is that, you know, it's very, very useful from a search engine perspective. There's a lot of things go on there, like people post a lot of infographics, how to do this, how to do that, or whatever. And I think it's more of a women's platform. I think there's a much higher percentage of women use it than men. Clearly, as Fraser's not used to.
Exactly. There you go. There's your example. Excuse me fidgeting tonight. I'm actually doing like yoga moves while I'm sat here because my back's a bit in pain today. So I'm like sat here stretching out my legs and everything. So I am fidgeting. But no, Pinterest is a really good tool for more visual things. Again, it's similar in the same aspect as Instagram, but you can put in, you know, different areas of what your business is. You can go more specific again, and you know, really kind of put it out there in a bit more of an organized fashion. Yeah.
So that's a useful one to have a look at. It's also a good place for you to source ideas for your business as well, and for your own thing. So I wouldn't necessarily suggest using Pinterest until you've got either Facebook or Instagram nailed. But it could be a good source for you for content and, you know, all that sort of thing. So, yeah, definitely. What else were we going to talk about? I came in without a pen, so I couldn't write everything down beforehand. Dope. Hang on. So we were going to cover.
Sorry, I'm trying to pull it up as well. I had it on my phone ready, and then I.
Yeah, so
a private message here from someone who is in the group watching us live, a colleague of mine who's watching this live, but she can't comment. So I don't know if anyone else is having problems with that.
Okay, that's all.
They are having. She's watching. She's in the group, a member. Yeah. So if anyone else is having problems that's connected, maybe they can contact you guys. Sorry, just
if she hasn't accepted the invite. Actually clicked on the button to accept the invite, she won't be able to comment.
No, I let her in as an admin, so she should be in.
Oh, okay.
She requested to join, and then I accepted her. So a bit strange.
Yeah. Sorry. Hopefully
I just wonder if anyone else is having that problem. You know, so if you've got any friends,
other people have had it,
send us a private message, and we'll investigate that. We'll speak to. Mark Zuckerberg tomorrow morning, first thing.
Get on to Mark. Oi, what are you doing? So we've talked about, you know, making the most of social media, and that there is so much you can do. That ultimately, I think, you know, we've used something before that worked really well, and we called it Get Seen 2018 last year, and we're going to be doing a version of it again this year. And it's basically giving you ideas, suggestions for content on a daily basis to help you basically work out what you're going to do and schedule it. I'm a bit cheeky with it because I could just give it you as a one dump 30-day thing like some people do, but I like to keep it, you know, just give you a little bit at a time, because, you know, scheduling posts and everything on social media is valuable when you're stuck for time. But I still think for all the social media accounts that we look after for people, and I still believe that when you actually schedule, you don't quite get the same reach as you do if it's just a lot, you know, type it, bump, gone. So that's worth really bearing in mind, you know, don't get too carried away with the scheduling.
Yeah, and also, you know, you want to make it relatable to what's going on at the time as well. I mean, just throwing in things that can link to stories that are about, or just the feel of everything. You know, you can schedule some things, can be, you know, the generic things that go through, but you want to get your personality, you want to kind of feed something through there. And I think it's important. It's something you will lose if you schedule so far ahead.
Yeah, Yeah, definitely. So we will cover that again in the group in future, because that's a great way to start to build your organic posts and get interaction. But it's a great way to actually build your story. So if you hadn't actually got started with it yet, you know, we've found that invaluable, because it really helps to speak to the people that you know, who are your ideal customers, but also the people that are sort of sitting on the fence a little bit and thinking, oh, well, I'll just watch them and see what's going on, you know. And it can really actually help sort of break down some of those barriers and get you moving a lot more within your social media. And we used it as a bit of a snowball effect as well. So we had a small group, and we were commenting and interacting on everybody's each other's posts. And the reach that we started to get with that then was just brilliant. It worked so well. So it's definitely worthwhile doing.
Yeah.
But it does need to be in a smaller group environment, because otherwise it gets difficult to keep track of everything. You know, we still want it to feel real. We don't necessarily want somebody commenting on something just, you know, for the sake of it. You know, it's still got to be a real, a considered post.
You've got to watch that people don't kind of cotton onto that and think, well, hold on, it's the same people commenting every day, right?
Exactly. So
it's a good tactic.
It's got to be real. So we talked, and we've covered that. We've talked about attracting your ideal customer and testing platforms. And then we wanted to go on to talk about ads. And the reason why we did the Get Seen 2018 and the build up and the snowball effect of the organic posts for people, when this is more working on a business page, is that it was a great predecessor, if you like, for them to start having some ads, because ultimately people want to be able to use Facebook ads as a platform, and that's what we want you to do as a business when you're ready for it. But the best way is always to start with just boosting a post that has a good organic reach already, so that you've got good interaction on it. It's not to say you can't do it with a cold straight post. You can do, but I think for you, from learning the skills perspective, and also from a confidence perspective, and obviously for reach, because if you've got a post that's got a good organic reach to start with, and then you boost it, you're going to be much more rewarded by Facebook. You know, they will spread it out a lot further, and a lot more people will see it. So
also,
that's
it's a good sign that it's actually a useful content. You know, it's content that the clients or the people are actually really wanting to listen to. So
your face then when it froze for a second.
No,
do
you know what?
Strange face.
The other day I froze and I was itching my nose, and then I froze and it looked like I was picking my nose, and I wasn't.
Yeah. So Facebook ads are valuable, very, very valuable, and there's quite a few key elements to them. You know, what we intend to do in the group as well is to be able to take you through that in a little bit more detail, to sort of hold your hand with it, and show you the techniques and things that we've used in the past to get more success with your ads. And like the other things that we've mentioned tonight, ultimately your ads then it's all about testing. You know, testing what works, testing what starts to go, and then scaling it.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Daniel. That's okay.
No, we all end up talking at the same time because we get so excited about the same subjects. No, but Facebook's a really good tool for that, because you can be so, you know, you can just put a little bit into it to start with. You don't have to throw loads of money at it, but you can put a little bit into it just to play around with all the different ads, see what's working, and then you can just really boost the one that's working and the one that's doing well. So it's such a good tool for that. Definitely. Sorry, Fraser, I let you speak now.
Yeah, no, it's right. But I remember the first time I started with Facebook, I thought, oh, great, I've got a good post here. I'm going to boost it. Let's go for $50. My account was in dollars for some reason. Let's go for $50. And the $50 got wiped out in one day, and I got nothing from it. And Now I know better. Like you say, you can test for $5 a day, and you can pretty much know the metrics after one day on a $5 testing budget. I remember once I was doing a post, I was getting pretty good at it, and getting some real traction from the Facebook ads. And I was up to on some campaigns $50, and spending some chunky money. And on one campaign, I put an extra zero in, and it was 500. And I didn't realize, and I pressed enter, and it's easy to make a mistake when you're setting up a campaign. And
I've had a client that's done that, but with an extra on.
Yeah, well, it was lucky I noticed it, because I pressed publish and it said, yeah, your ad's been approved, an hour later or whatever. And suddenly the next couple of hours, I kept getting these notifications saying, you've got a new lead, you've got a new prospect, because I was doing an optimization for leads, not for sales, but for leads. It was an email capture page. And I'm thinking, how am I getting such cheap leads here? This is incredible, wonderful. And I went back into the campaign, and it had spent like, I don't know, $150 in a couple of hours. And well, at that time, it was working well, but you've still got to then transfer those leads into sales.
Into money,
yeah. They're only leads, right? They were cheap leads, but they were only leads. Yeah. And I had to just kind of go back in and adjust it. But that's how easy it is to blow through your money.
Yeah.
Facebook won't say to you, are you sure you want to spend 500? Did you not mean 50? No, they'll take my money.
Yeah. And the fantastic thing about Facebook is, and we were talking about boosting posts, because that's when you are on your business page and you create a post, you get the button pop up straight away, don't you? Boost your post, whatever. But as you get more experience as a Facebook marketer, then the next stage, and you might have heard some people talk about this, you might not have done, is to go into using Ads Manager. And that is a whole different ball game. But within that, because for any of you that are here that are doing Facebook ads and you're having some success with them already, Ads Manager is a fantastic tool for you to just take your business to the next level. And there's some fantastic little tools in there as well that you can do all sorts of fancy things, and it can create audiences for you, lookalike audiences. So, it basically tracks the data that of your customers that have come, through your Facebook page, and it can create you, like exactly what it says on the tin, a lookalike audience. And there's so many other fantastic things that you can do in there. So, if you are starting to use it and maybe you're having sort of up and downy success with boosted posts, just please, be assured that there's a lot more to it than that, and there's a lot more that you can do. But you do need the guidance and the coaching really to just take you through it in a way that is not going to blow your money, but also is going to make the best for you and your business.
They're very clever.
Fantastic tool. It's so useful, but also done wrong, it's you can spend. I've done it. I know. I'm saying it from experience. You can spend an absolute fortune and not get anywhere, and you've just wasted all that money. It's so important to make sure that you have a clue what you're doing within Facebook ads, because you can quite easily lose $500. Was it, Fraser?
Yeah,
and I don't know. Look, you know what? If I had let that run that day, that particular campaign, it probably would have kept on generating really good leads, and they would have materialized potentially into much more than $500. But I wasn't really at the stage I wanted to be spending $500 back then. But Facebook's so clever that it's going to keep prompting you to boost this post if you boost this post for $10 or $20. You're going to reach X number of people, 20,000 people more, whatever, right? Oh, that's very appealing. And then they kind of help you put the advert together. It's quite simple. And then what happens? Oh, suddenly you get an email from Facebook, an ads expert. Don't worry, we're going to set up a 30-minute free consultation with you and show you how this works. In my experience, they've not got a clue. They have got no idea. And basically what they're trying to do, I had one for my e-commerce business just a few weeks ago, and she was just hopeless. And she was trying to get me to run a likes campaign for my Facebook page. even though all the adverts that I run on that Facebook page for that e-commerce store are dark posts, so nobody sees them, only the target audience sees them. She wanted me to run a likes campaign to build my brand and build my audience, build my likes on that page. I said, that's not what I want. That's not what I'm trying to do here. So they do try and just extract money from your pocket. Yep. But in saying that, if you know what you're doing, if you've got some, not even if you know what you're doing, right, but if you know what metrics to look out for and you get some guidance, it's wonderful. It's a great tool.
Yeah, definitely. I think probably with those guys, they are a bit scripted, aren't they, with what they've got to do, and they ultimately, you know, they've got a ABC.
They're salespeople.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the program that they want essentially people to go through, and I think they are quite aware now of people that are sort of bypassing like the standard things, and you know, maybe, you know, just they know what the crack is, don't they? But ultimately, they are salespeople sat there trying to get you to part with your money. So
they probably never run a Facebook ad in their lives, these people, you know.
No, and a lot of them probably have had no training at all. They're literally working off, you know, the training they've had is the script training, the training to say what to say to people, rather than the actual knowledge and stuff behind it.
Yeah, and there's a whole, you know, you can use Facebook ads in so many different ways now, can't you? Like Fraser said, you can use them for getting leads. You could for lead generation. You can use it for product sales. You can use it for a messenger campaign. There's so many different ways in which you can use it now, and it's only when you start to get in that you can really see that. And for any of you that haven't been in there yet, the beauty of it is, as Fraser's mentioned before, that you can target your audience, because if you are selling fluffy pink slippers, there's not very many men particularly that really want to see fluffy.
No, Fraser, do you want some fluffy pink slippers?
I sold them. I sold them actually at tail end of last year with cats on them, and it was great because I was targeting cat owners, cat lovers, all the different cat audiences. And well, one thing about that is, and it's curious though, you might think only women would buy them, but it was coming up to Christmas time.
Percentage,
right. Yeah, the great thing about Facebook, I mean, sometimes I'll target just men, sometimes just women. But the great thing about Facebook is it is smart enough to know who to show the ads to. And if it is a female-dominated product or market, then it generally will split it, more heavily towards females, which is great. But also, guys do buy them for presents as well, so it's great. You can,
and then also for things like that, like round times where is Mother's Day or it's Valentine's Day and stuff. Facebook know that, and they will then market that stuff to your page. And I think, with the whole thing on Facebook now, everything you write, everything you post, it's keeping that information somewhere, so it knows exactly what that specific person is interested in, what things they like, what pages they follow, so they know who they're pulling in to be able to share your information too. So it's so clever Facebook is now.
And
guys, this is a lot of information. We must just say to people, relax, it's all good. We're just covering everything here. We will go into this more in the coming days and weeks, after these lives. There's a lot more to come here, so just be prepared for that, and we will guide you through this step by step. Okay?
Yeah, because we're just trying to sort of touch on all bases, because we're mindful of the fact that there's people in here that are all at different levels of their journey and different stages of their journey.
But people should be excited by all that Facebook, ad stuff. It is great.
It's
take it step by step.
Yeah, the potential of it is just unthinkable, really, isn't it? Because we've got most of you will probably, even if you haven't actually clicked on to what's happening yet, then you might have actually thought about this and thought that's weird. The fact that you can talk about a product or talk about something now, and then it suddenly appears in your newsfeed.
Yeah,
that's
exactly what it's doing.
Yeah. So you've got when you start advertising as well, you've got all that in your favour. Sometimes you can think it's a bit weird, a bit freaky, a bit Big Brother, but ultimately it can serve you well as a business. So yeah. So is there any questions?
Oh God, I can't believe the time.
I know.
We're only about 20 minutes in or something. I've just realised the time. Oh, there's so much more that I could go into, and it's so frustrating because we can't. It's getting late here. I've got to go to bed. But there's so much more that I want to share on this social media thing. But it's just going to have to. It's going to have to come. Oh gosh, to an end.
Well, that's Tamara touches on that. Gosh, all of your explanations have made me realise that Facebook and other social media is a far bigger thing than just a social chit chat. I have this chit chat.
That's what most people believe it is, and it was designed for that. It was designed to be a social space for people to go to. But what do we do? It's social events. We talk and we chit chat, and then people learn things about you and what it is. And what Facebook's done then is just made it an easier space so that you can spread it out and get it even further to the right kind of people. Right, so it's brilliant. It really is.
Good old Mark Zuckerberg. He's rich for a reason.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, are there any other questions before we clear off for the evening? We'll let Dan go to bed because she's an hour ahead of us.
If you're watching the replay, type replay and your question, of course. And we are back tomorrow at the same time, aren't we?
I know. Can you believe it's like the final night?
I know.
My goodness.
It's gone so quick, hasn't it?
It's gone so quick. It's gone absolutely. I think we need.
Yeah, it's been great to have the opportunity to chat to you all really as well. So yeah,
it's been really nice because we've all been able to kind of share our passion, which is based around social media. So great night.
Yeah. Wonderful. Cool. Yeah, if there isn't any questions, then we'll say good night from Brinklow.
Good night from Spain.
Buenas noches, hasta mañana.
See you tomorrow.
Adios.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.